The moon exerts a powerful influence on how we sleep. This is what a large-scale study has found. Sleep is one of the most vital things a human being does, but millions of us don't do enough of it. Some of the distractions that prevent us from getting enough sleep are obvious, such as too much light, for example. Others are less so, remaining mysterious and debated, even if they've probably been disrupting human eyes shut for thousands of years. In this case, we're talking about the moon and the moon cycles, which have been long studied to investigate their potential impact on how a human sleeps, although the results of these analyses have been somewhat inconsistent. In a new study, which the researchers claim is among the largest of its kind, a team of scientists monitored the sleep of over 850 people in Uppsala, Sweden, using polysomnography measurements to ascertain their sleep onset duration and the quality of their sleep for a single night. These one-night measurements were recorded in individuals over several years across both men and women. The nights recorded ended up representing different stages of the lunar cycle, as the new moon waxes to a full moon with its visible illuminated area increasing in size, and also the waning of the moon as the illumination decreases after the full moon in the period until the next new moon. The thinking goes that the increased brightness of the waxing moon reached an optical crescendo on the night of the full moon should affect human sleep detrimentally overall, given people generally tend to sleep better with more darkness. Some studies have indeed borne that theory out, but others failed to replicate that theory. In the new research, the result appears to confirm that lunar cycles do have a significant and detectable influence on human sleep, but interestingly, not everybody is affected in the same way. Please support my Patreon account since YouTube has again demonetized my YouTube channel. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below. We found that men whose sleep was recorded during nights in the waxing period of the lunar cycle exhibited lower sleep efficiency and increased time awake after sleep onset compared to men whose sleep was measured during nights of the waning period. This is what neuroscientists said. First author of the study, Christian Benedict from Uppsala University. In contrast, the sleep of women remained largely unaffected by the lunar cycle. While the results in women were overall less suggestive of the moon's influence on their sleeping patterns, the phenomenon is certainly not invisible. The team's paper shows women in the study slept on average almost 12 minutes less on nights during the waxing period compared to the waning nights. That said, men slept over 20 minutes less on the waxing nights, and other markers of the moon's effects were also much more pronounced in the men, including 3.4% lower sleep efficiency, more wakefulness, and larger disruptions to the lengths of sleep stages during waxing nights. Due to this being observable research, the team does not claim that a causative effect is at work here. Benedict says, "Our study, of course, cannot disentangle whether the association of sleep with the lunar cycle was causal or just correlative. In other words, there's definitely something going on here that seems to make people sleep differently in sync with how bright and full the moon is on a given night. It's just hard to authoritatively pinpoint the extent of this effect." Nonetheless, researchers are happy to hazard a few guesses in directions that are once again both obvious and not. With each additional day during waxing phases, the moon reflects more sunlight to the Earth, reaching a maximum illumination at the day of the full moon, the team says in their study. Besides light, circadian rhythms controlling sleep timing and quality are affected by non-photic cues, including gravity. Differences in the moon's gravitational pull at bedtime between the waxing and waning phases might, therefore, explain some of the observed differences in sleep. There are also potential geomagnetic effects that may be involved, warranting further investigation of this, but for now at least, the moon acting as a huge, inconveniently placed mirror reflecting light from the sun remains the most reasonably seeming explanation for cyclical sleepless nights. This was reported on Science of the Total Environment, and it's on Science Alert by Peter Dockrell. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support.